Hey, and welcome back to my podcast, Marissa. Today, I want to talk to you about manifestation. Every time I go to the pool, I take this book. It's The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and I love just reading as much as I can while I'm there. I learn a lot from it every time I open that book. And it's the most helpful book I think I've ever read. When it comes to law of attraction and manifestation, one thing you should definitely be doing is using subliminals while you sleep. A subliminal is a message that enters your subconscious without your conscious awareness knowing. There are options for dream life, dream person, money, wealth, health and wellness, pretty much anything that you can imagine. There are subliminals for on YouTube, and most of them are about 8 hours long. So if you just play it right before you go to sleep, it's very quiet, and you can put it at a low volume if you don't like listening to noise while you sleep, and it plays all through the night while your conscious is asleep. So let's say that you sleep for 8 hours. If you spend that 8 hours with your consciousness asleep and your subconscious aware and awake listening to these subliminals, it's going to intake all that information and process that as reality. So when you wake up, you will have spent 8 hours listening to that information and your consciousness didn't have a chance to fight it. This is definitely something I recommend you do if you're getting into manifestation or if you're having a hard time manifesting things. Another option that I like is Neville Goddard YouTube videos. So it's obviously AI curated because Neville Goddard is long gone, but there are versions of his lectures that are put on YouTube for free that you can listen to anytime. And it basically just feels like he's teaching you the methods that he used and how to improve your awareness to manifest the things that you want faster. One of my favorite things to do for manifestation is scripting, and this is my joy journal. It's just a yellow journal that I keep separate from my regular journal. This journal is specifically dedicated for manifestations and affirmations, that kind of thing. So, like in this page, the last page I wrote was goals and history. So, what I was and what I want to be. And then also affirmations in present tense of things that I want to happen. So, this one says, I am my favorite version of myself now. I am aligned spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. But going back, there are times that I've scripted experiences, and I always do it in colored pen because it makes it feel more magical and whimsical for me. But there are times that I've scripted like full journal entries in present tense, acting as if I've already received the thing that I'm trying to manifest. This one specifically was about a job that I wanted at the time. Other times I just do affirmations where it's repeated the same sentence over and over. I think this is 10 times each time. And then other times I'll write, what is it that I want? And then I'll write out a list of the things that I want. And then I'll script as if I already have those things. That's my favorite thing to do because I just love journaling in general, but I love putting myself into that mindset of having the things that I want already and imagining what a normal day would go like if I already had those things. Another important thing is not to just imagine what it's like when you receive those things, but to live your life. Like imagine what you would look like and what you would do living your life while having those things. One of my favorite Neville Goddard episodes right now on YouTube is it's called Assume It Happened Yesterday, and I'll link it in the description so you can find it if you want to listen to it. But he says, think about something that happened to you yesterday. Like maybe you ate dinner or you went grocery shopping or something definitive that actually did happen yesterday. And then he says, you don't think about that thing with hope or with anticipation. You just think of it as something that has factually happened in your life because it's in the past. This is how you need to be thinking about your manifestations. Instead of putting it on a pedestal and thinking like, oh, I really want this thing so bad, just think of it as if it's a normal thing in your life already and like it's something you experience every single day. When I think of it that way, it makes it much easier for me to figure out why I'm putting such a high priority on the things that I'm trying to manifest rather than just imagining that it's already mine. One real experience that I had this week with my manifestations was I passed a final exam for my college course that I was stuck on for like 2 months. This course was in my bachelor's degree program, and it's really boring and it's basically all text based. So I had to read the textbook and try to absorb as much information as I could, but my brain cannot focus on textbooks like that, especially when it has to do with like transportation, distribution, logistics, like business stuff that I really didn't care about at the time. I still don't. But I really didn't want to learn the material, and it was really hard for me to focus. Anytime I was trying to learn the material, I felt stuck and I felt like I was zoning out, and I had to always go back and reread the paragraphs that I already read. And I just got really frustrated. In my mind, I put the fact on it that this course is hard and I don't like it. And so for 2 months, I experienced that that course was hard for me and I really didn't like it. But the problem was that my term was ending on June 30th and I had to pass the final exam if I didn't want to be kicked out. Okay, that's a little dramatic. They weren't going to kick me out, but it would have delayed my graduation and I really did not want to do that because then I'd have to start the course from the beginning again. Anyway, so I had to convince myself that the course was easy and that it's based on all the stuff that I've already learned through the degree program so far, and that I could pass the exam. With 2 days left in June, I crammed and studied as much as I could of that course material. I went on LinkedIn Learning to learn it a different way rather than learning it through my course textbook. And I did everything I could to figure out how to make it absorb into my brain rather than like just constantly falling asleep listening to lecture videos. Then it was time for me to schedule a proctored exam, which just means that I take it remotely and I have to have a webcam so that the proctor can watch me take the exam to make sure that I'm not cheating. So I went in to schedule my exam on June 30th, which was the last day of the term. It was 3 p.m. that day. There weren't any available time slots for a proctor until 10:30 that night. So I had 7 more hours that I had to either think about this course or try to study or risk just forgetting about it until 10 p.m. I definitely did not want to risk forgetting about it because I didn't want to risk getting kicked out or getting delayed. So I took the time to play the LinkedIn Learning videos in the background as I was like doing chores, like folding laundry, making my bed, cleaning the house. And I used the lecture videos as subliminals so that it would go into my brain without me really thinking about it. Finally, when the time came, it was 9:30 and I realized, okay, I have 1 hour before my exam, so let me just review everything, go through everything, and just make sure that I'm solid. I had 2 months to go over this material and barely touched it. So then in 2 days, June 29th and June 30th, I crammed as much as I could. At 10 p.m., just half an hour before my exam started, I decided to switch gears. I went onto YouTube and I typed in knowledge frequency. I did this because I know that the law of attraction functions through frequencies, and I needed to recall all of the knowledge that I had tried to absorb in the past 2 days. So I turned it on, and then as I was listening to this, I started stretching. And while I was doing that and listening to this knowledge frequency, I was saying to myself, this exam is so easy. I've already passed this exam. I know everything that I need to know for this exam. There's nothing on this exam that I haven't learned in the past 2 days. All of the information on this exam is in my subconscious, and I'm calling it forward now. And I just kept saying affirmations like that for 10 or 15 minutes. And then I had called my brother earlier that day, telling him about the exam I had to take. And I texted him ahead of time before I even took the exam. I passed with a little celebratory emoji, and I held on to that text. I didn't send it yet. And then I started visualizing what the course looks like on my actual laptop when it says like a green check mark next to the course saying that I've passed it. And I started visualizing my student portal online saying that my course was passed and that I finished my term. Putting myself into the future maybe by an hour really helped me solidify the visualization of what it would look like if I actually passed this exam. I started acting as if I already knew everything on the exam. I went into it thinking, this is so easy. I've got this in the bag. It's not a problem. I've learned everything I need to know. And then, of course, I am religious. So I said a little prayer and I asked God for guidance and to help me trust my gut to know the answers and pick the right choice because it was a multiple choice exam. Then I opened the exam and I got started, and it took me maybe 45 minutes. And the good thing about online proctored exams is that they tell you exactly when you're done if you passed or not. However, because this was the last day of the term and it was like 11 o'clock at night at this point, the whole website kind of crashed. I had already submitted my exam, thankfully, but I couldn't see if I passed or not. So I sent the text to my brother saying I passed with a celebration emoji, and I went to sleep thinking, yeah, I passed. I'm good. I'm ready for the next term tomorrow on July 1st. I didn't know, but I expected the universe to pull through for me. So when I woke up the next day, I had emails on my phone from my course mentor and my course instructors saying, congratulations on your past exam, and congrats, you finished your term. And I wasn't really that surprised because I was already living as if it had happened. It felt really weird to do it that way because I've never actually done that in real life before. I've only ever imagined it happening. But I realized if I can do this with something as important as an exam for my education, I can apply this to different situations in my life. So I started this month of July with a brand new outlook on life and an outlook on myself and my powers through manifestation. I realized that I do have it in me to control my own reality, and you do too. You just have to figure out how to focus in on it. You can do it. We all can. I'm hoping that this podcast becomes a much bigger thing and that you can share it with your friends and tell them about it and that I can reach more people. I'm going to continue manifesting things like this. I've got a few other manifestations in the works and I'm really excited to tell you about them once they come true. I'll link everything that I mentioned in the description of this video so you can find it and listen if you want to. But I want to hear your manifestation success stories. Comment below or shoot me a DM and tell me what has worked in your life. Please also share any other videos or tips that you have if you manifest. I'm ready to tackle the second half of this year with confidence in myself and my abilities to manifest the life that I want. And I'm confident in your ability too. I am filming on the 4th of July, so I do have to go to do some festive things, but I will see you guys next week.